time is supposed to be linear, a straight path, one step after another. But what if, for just a moment, that path started to fracture? This is Whispers in the Dark, and I'm your host, author Gerrence George. And your first story is called Happy Thoughts.
Yeah. My eyes snap open. Everything is fine. This is wrong. The veil of peace and quiet that only the morning can bring settles over the bedroom. I follow sunbeams as they slice through slits in the curtains of the honeymoon suite, sending golden stripes across my new wife's beautiful, naked body. This is wrong. She stirs and rustles around in the sheets. The sexiness of her coal-hued skin is enhanced by its contrast with our eggshell white sheets. We lock eyes. No words, just desire. Somewhere from an unseen speaker, Frankie Beverly is confessing to his lady that he loves her too much. I understand. It's our song. We stare into each other's eyes in silence, giggling about the fact that we are both too young for it to be our song. We mouth the words to each other until our lips barely touch. We tease each other. It's what we do. We wait until the last second, until we feel as if our desire will swallow us whole, and then we give in. Our bodies seem to merge. We move in unison, forming one entity. She bites her bottom lip, then brings her mouth to my ear. She whispers. She says,
Tell me, baby, why are you here?
Why do I feel like I have a specific answer for that question? The words are quickly replaced by moans. That's strange. Why would she ask me that? And even more strange, why do I feel like I have an answer to give? Suddenly the room flashes white. I'm not naked in a bedroom at dawn. I'm in a hospital room at dawn. The room is bland and functional in the way that every hospital room is. The same woman whom I shared a bed with now lays by herself, practically swallowed in sheets. I sit down beside and hold her thin, weak hand. She's the same woman from the honeymoon suite, but you couldn't tell by looking at her. The disease has done its evil business to the woman I love. This is wrong. That's strange. The entirety of the room is a blur. The only things that are truly 100% clear are her and the bed. We lock eyes. The disease has eaten away at her body, but it couldn't take her eyes. She uses all of her strength to turn her head and smile at me. So strong. I'm so proud of her I could cry. She asks me again.
Tell me, baby, why are you here?
Followed by a weak smile. And again, I feel an answer pulling itself from my mind and climbing to the top of my throat. Somehow I know what I want to tell her, but here it doesn't make any sense. And wait a minute, how am I here when I was just somewhere else? Was I somewhere else or here the whole time? Was I fantasizing about being in bed with my beautiful wife as a way of coping with the fact that she was wasting away in front of me? Wait. This has already happened. I remember her last words to me. She told me to not be afraid and that she loved me. She didn't ask me any questions. What is this? What is going on? Her hands clasp my head harder than someone in her condition should be able to. She squeezes. Her smile widens to reveal all of her teeth. Her eyes widen more than eyes should be able to. Her voice, once so smoky and sensual, now guttural and angry.
Why are you here?
She says. The bed she's in begins to liquefy. It melts away. Then she melts. She turns into a thick black liquid in my arms that drains away. I cry and scream as I try to catch and gather her up as she oozes through my fingers. Then there's another flash. I'm strapped to a bed. There's something on my head. Some sort of helmet. It hurts. The helmet hurts. And now I remember persistent needles that kept boring through my skull no matter how hard I screamed, until they punctured my brain and found my dearest memories. I remember now. I took the mission. I weighed the cost of sneaking behind enemy lines to gain intel about some revolutionary new technology. I heard what could be done, what they could do to the brain, things they could make you see, which is why I requested to take the mission alone, which might also explain how I got sloppy and ended up captured. No matter. They won't break me. I yell the words at them in their little observation room. You hear that? You won't break me! You won't break me! I can't see them. It doesn't matter. I know they're there. On the other side of that two-way glass. I can feel it. They're administering it again. I'll forget soon. They're trying to get me to relax my mind and tell them what I found out and what intel I might have already sent home. Some genius must have figured out that under interrogation, the promise of pleasure might get better results than the threat of pain. This transition to a bad memory was no doubt a mistake on their part. Some glitch in their machine that they no doubt intend to fix. Well, bring it the fuck on, I say! I scream again at the glass. Bring it on! They know I'm challenging them. They know I won't break. Shit. I'm sleepy. It's them. No. Remember your training. Breathe. It won't break. Breathe. Breathe. I won't break. I won't break. My eyes snap open. Hey, I'm in my old room. Well, makes sense. I always sleep in my old room when I stay at Mom and Dad's for Christmas. A stupid tradition I fully intend to keep. Mom knocks on the door and creaks it open, holding a piping hot mug of cocoa. Somewhere from a speaker I can't see, Stevie Wonder belts out how someday at Christmas there'll be peace on earth, maybe just not in time for you and me. Longing grips my stomach as I see her. I miss her, but how could I? She's standing right in front of me. She comes to my side of the bed and holds out the mug. As I reach out, she pulls it back and asks,
But first, tell me why you're here, baby.
That's a strange question, especially since she doesn't know anything about my mission. Well, what does it matter? At the end of the day, I know I'm loved. The cocoa is sweet and warm on my lips as I tell Mama everything.
A prisoner, locked away in a place where hope is a dead language, knows something is coming. Something unstoppable. And as the walls around him hold firm, the sky above begins to crack. The name of your final story for the evening is Purged.
I hear the rumbling before the emergency alarm sounds. That means the panic isn't too far behind, for them at least. Sure enough, hardened criminals in the surrounding cells cry out like children during a thunderstorm. Getting hit by an asteroid was always a possibility here. Hell, this prison was built on an asteroid. So why would the notion of being hit by one cause much surprise? Of course there was time to prepare. If only they had listened to my warnings. Funny how people can put things away from the front of their mind until those things must be recognized. The entire facility rumbles and violently shifts. Not even the guards are safe. I hear their bodies hit the cement floor and hard thuds falling from multiple tiers. Prisoners cry out now, this time from the pain of newly broken bones after a hard fall from their bunk. The shaking gets harder, but I have no fear. I sit cross-legged on the floor of my cell. They call it a cell, and means for punishment, but they have only provided the sanctuary and solitude I needed to prepare. It's time to speak the old words. The symbols I've been carving into my arms for the past 6 months begin to burn and glow the most brilliant red I've ever seen. I grit my teeth and beads of sweat trickle down my brow. Glorious red light begins to shoot from the symbols in my flesh, and now the ancient shapes and words carved into my arms project onto the walls. The pain, the terrible pain. It feels as if I have plunged my arms into a furnace and refused to pull them out of the flames. I thought I was prepared for this, but it hurts so much more than expected. No one could prepare for such agony. I steady my breathing, and I speak the words. Those who withstand the fire are purged. As I repeat the words, the pain still sears my skin, but somehow it matters less. The pain, the asteroid coming to end this place, the so-called friend who framed me so that I could be sent here, they are all meaningless. I repeat the words. The cell shakes. The symbols grow brighter. I hear the other voice, the one behind my mind. It repeats the words along with me. The very same voice that whispered to the back of my mind the first day the penal transport dropped me on this rock. I thought I'd finally snapped until I pulled excavation duty. That was the day I found the stone tablet no bigger than a tea saucer. It was green and gray with intricate etchings covering every inch. Somehow I knew how to pronounce the words, and I studied them with more passion than I've ever given anything else in my miserable life. The tablet spoke of the power to cheat the limitations of life and death. And most importantly, it spoke of the great cleansing stone that will be sent from the heavens to burn away non-believers. The more I studied, the louder the voice grew. First, the voice seemed to be a harbinger of horrors to come, but now I know the truth. The voice is a guide from somewhere far beyond what we call reality. Those who withstand the fire are purged by it. I say it to myself as the symbols now begin to trace themselves over every inch of my flesh. The symbols spread and burn bright red against my skin. No piece of flesh is spared the agony of cleansing. More symbols populate the walls of the cell. There is almost none of its original drab gray color to be seen. My cell has become a bright red beacon of faith. The ground shakes harder. There's now no way to discern the guards' cries from the inmates. The skies seem to roar as I hear the large rock rip through the false atmosphere on its way to cleanse us all. Now is the time. This is not the end, brothers. Pledge yourselves to the Lord of the Flame as I have. Ask to hear his whisper, and the fire will do your bidding. You only have to ask. and you will not burn. You will be cleansed. I plead with those outside my cell. Most mock and curse me out of fear. Oh, how I wish the poor fools would see the truth. Another deafening boom rocks the entire facility as if it's at sea. The asteroid has made contact. I close my eyes, and in my mind's eye, I can see the wall of flame, gathering power as it spreads towards us. I see the fleeing guards and transport ships swallowed by the magnificent wave. The Lord of the Flame allows me to hear and rejoice at their agony. He is generous indeed. Soon, dear brothers, soon we will unite with the Fury.
Yes, please. I pledge. I pledge.
I hear a few wise voices cry out. The sound of their supplication brings tears that I am unashamed to shed. The wave of flame engulfs the prison, and after a moment the agonized wails fall short. The fire burns and shakes my cell. Everything is engulfed in flames. Everything, of course, but myself and the few other believers. The force of the flames rips my cell's hypermetal door from its place and crumbles it like paper. I stand with only the tattered remnants of my uniform covering my undamaged flesh. I leave the pathetic cage that held my former self. I then turn and see 3 other men with an appearance similar to mine. The only difference between us being their faces wear looks of shock and disbelief, while mine shows nothing but peace. They look at me and drop to their knees in unison. No, dear brothers. I'm a mere messenger. You do not bow to me.
Listen to your brother. It is to me that you bow.
A deep, calm voice said from somewhere within the flame. I stare within and see the faintest figure standing with unnaturally long, open arms. I can see that he is draped in immaculate robes that are the deepest crimson I have ever seen. I advance toward him, fighting their urge to run like a child, but he holds an outstretched hand with his palm facing out. I stop in my tracks and choke back disappointed tears. To spend a lifetime rejected by the world is one thing, but to face rejection from the Lord of the unending flames, unbearable. He shakes his head, and at once I am at peace again. He has not rejected me. He has plans for me.
Soon,
he says, and is at once engulfed in a fresh wave of fire. Its mass rushes over me faster than I can scream. The heat blows scorching waves of agony through every inch of my body. I feel my eyes liquefy and the flesh melt off my body in huge burning chunks. When I'm almost nothing but a skeleton, I see a white flash. I blink, and I'm in bed. No, not in bed. Strapped to a bed. I scream and writhe in my restraints, and the uncaring man and woman in the white jackets rush over and hold me down. After a few moments, reality comes rushing back in. I remember now. My body aches, but not from the fire. The pain is from the beatings. My fellow inmates have mastered the art of brutalizing me just to the point of death. The 2 very men in my dream, no, my vision, put me here. The male white jacket plunges a needle into my neck and pushes my head down hard on the pillow. Soon I will fall into a deep, dreamless sleep. The Lord of the Flame will not visit me again, not until the time of the true coming fire, the time the galaxy will be given the glorious choice. Exalt the flame or be consumed by it. Until then, Their beatings and defilement mean nothing. Those who try to break my body have already lost. I will soon be cleansed of the filth of mortal flesh. Through an aching face, I manage a weak smile and strain to repeat the words once more before the black veil of unconsciousness covers me. Those that withstand the fire are purged by it.
Control is a fragile illusion. We tell ourselves we understand the rules of reality, that time moves forward, that there is no inevitable fiery death about to rain down on us from the heavens above, and that we know who we are and where we stand. But what happens when that illusion cracks? When the world around us twists and the truth slips just out of reach? Tonight, our protagonists reached for answers and found themselves bound instead, trapped not by walls or chains alone, but by the terrifying realization that the reality they believed in was not quite real at all. Thank you for listening to Whispers in the Dark. Sound effects and some music were used under the Creative Commons license and sourced from freesounds.org and the paid versions of Canva and Splice. Additional music was made by Gerrence George.
Stories were written and performed by Gerrence George. Additional voice performance by Dee George.
AI images were created using the paid versions of Canva and also using Leonardo AI. If you'd like to reach out to us, you can do so at whispersinthedarkpod@gmail.com. Well, that's all for now. And remember, the next time you find yourself alone in the dark, listen closely. You just might hear the whispers.